Hello fighters, today with me is Craig Schmitz.
Hi.
Business owner, fighter, referee.
Yeah.
What else you doing in fighting world?
Yeah, a bit of everything, whether I'm business owner, sponsor, fighter, ref. Give me the job, I'll go and do it.
Fantastic. Today we will speak obviously about boxers, about fighters. We will speak about, from your experience, how to obtain promoter, how to obtain sponsor, how to start gaining a bit of exposure, and how to convert it to pennies. That's the one.
That's the end game. That's the goal.
Game. And obviously we will talk more about how to find out what kind of show you're going to attend, because to be honest, I feel sometimes really lost. It's ultra white collar, semi-pro, pro, Queensbury.
They call them also unlicensed, all of it.
You can call it how you want, but actually, I would like you to explain to me and to obviously to our fans how to recognize what you're going to do, because like we speak last time, ultra white collar, in my opinion, it's supposed to be only for brand new fighters, like never been in the ring, like really beginners.
I think the idea behind ultra white collar originally was people who work in offices or in manufacturing environments, for them to have a bit of exposure into the boxing world. Learn the basics and have a fight at the end of it. That was the idea, I believe, behind ultra white collar in the beginning. So, having people go and do that, they've done it before, I don't think that's the right thing to do. I don't think that's fair, because all these other people are novices, absolute scratch novices, never put on gloves before, sit at office all day doing this, and then 8 weeks later they're having a fight with what should be someone of their own level. And I think that's
after 16 lessons, actually.
Yeah.
Because that's what it will be. It's 16 lessons, twice a week. Not much.
Not much at all. I think it's hard to learn a lot in that time. 16 hours is not a long period. It's not long enough to learn the trade, so to speak. You might learn the basics, and your opponent might learn the basics, but I personally don't think I don't agree with it. I don't agree with how it's done. I don't think that you should be fighting, especially in front of a crowd, at that level, at that amount of time of training. I don't think you know enough and learnt enough. I don't think you can look after yourself properly at that. But that's my opinion, These guys have been doing it a long time, and they must know what they're doing. But my opinion of a fighter is...
you're doing it for charity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's another time.
Another time. Okay, so we're supposed to put ultra white collar on the bottom of our...
Theoretically, yes.
Ladder.
There are levels. And I think ultra white collar, being it that you've never boxed before, is the lower end of that. And you'll wear a head guard and you're protected as best you can be in that. Still, there's a lot to learn in 16 hours. We'll leave it at that.
Okay, so now let's move a bit higher, white collar boxing.
Yeah, so white collar, again, it's a similar kind of theory. Most of the time they will still wear head guards. However, a lot of these tend to be 12-week training camps. Still.
A lot longer.
So it's a lot longer. In theory, it should still go to charity. However, a lot of the times it goes back into the gyms of where the trainer is and things like that. Again, it's a low level of boxing. It's scratch novices.
So we can find out a lot of shows where it's like a mixed level from beginners, what they try to do charity, through fighters what they start in fight, and they got a bit of experience. Then we can find couple of fights what they will be at higher level.
Yeah, you'll usually find that throughout the show, the first 5 to 10 fights will be the novices, and then they'll put on a fight at the end of people that have done it before and know what they're doing, to try and attract the crowds in, to bring a little bit more money in for the charities or
obviously
whatever.
show without
Yeah.
crowd it not count.
No. So usually on those shows they'll put 1 or 2 fights on at the end of people, local heroes, people locally that everybody knows that have fought before.
Okay, so next one, semi-pro.
So yeah, semi-pro. This is to me what I like to do. So it's not fighting against the top level guys most of the time, but it's not fighting against the people that haven't done it before. It's a good mid-level. Fighters tend to get paid, whether it be commission or a fight purse. That's up to the promoter, but they tend to get a bit of money from it, which encourages people to do better. You know, it encourages people to try harder because they've got something to gain out of it at the end.
That's good description.
You won't wear head guards in these fights either because it's not people that haven't boxed before. You know, you've had a couple usually by this point. You'll know at least the basics of what you're doing, and you know they tend to be good even fights at this level.
So we can assume as guys that they going semi-pro.
Yeah.
They've been in the ring. They know how it tastes.
Yeah.
And they got some kind of liking for it.
Yeah, but by this point they realise that they aren't made of glass. They can take a punch and they're not going to shatter. You know. I think at a low level, sometimes you're scared to take a big punch. You don't know how it's going to feel. I think by the time it's semi-pro level, people have done this. They've had the punches, they've taken the punches, they've thrown the punches, and we kind of know at least the basics of what they're doing. Enough to get by through 3-round fights that they tend to be.
Okay. So, what is next step?
Well,
I see at these days is a lot of options. It's not only BBBFC or Biba Box. It's also some new promotions where you can fight in semi-pro rules or amateur rules or professional rules, but not necessarily it is attached to any big organization.
No, well, this is it. You know, there are the amateurs, the amateur routes, which is a totally different way to what all the other guys have just been saying is. With the amateur routes, you usually get in it at a young age. You'll train hard for years and years and years. You'll fight normally locally, so you'll have Derby teams versus Leicester teams or Nottingham teams until you get to a good level, and then you can look to progress into the pros from there. That tends to be how the amateurs works.
Amateur can take you to Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, you can do the Commonwealth. You can even do the Olympics as well.
Olympics,
you know, so
yes.
the top level amateurs are the ones that are doing that, and you will also find that once people have been to the Olympics or the Commonwealths or something similar, then they'll look to go pro from there because.
I would say they are ready to go pro
exactly.
From that point.
Yeah, I mean, some people stay in the amateurs for longer because they want the glory of being an Olympian. However, you don't tend to get paid big money in the amateurs unless you pick up a sponsorship deal as you get to a good level, you know. Whereas on the semi-pro white-collar route, you can get paid a lot quicker, a lot easier, and it takes a lot less time. But you don't fight against the same kind of level of fighters as you would in the amateurs. So they're both two different routes to get to where you want to go.
Okay. So next step.
So
we've been at amateur now.
Yeah.
Semi-pro and pro. So with some smaller organizations than BBBFC.
Yeah. So there's companies. Well, let's start with some of the larger promotions locally. So, you know, you'll find that in each city there'll be a promotion that everybody knows about, whether it be, I'm not going to mention the names, let's be safe, but, you know.
Yeah, safe yes.
But,
you know, I really would like to mention names because
sometimes I would.
I work for great people, but let's stay without names at this point.
You'll find there'll be some big promotions and good promotions that will do. They'll do semi-pro, they'll do, on the other side as well, they'll do the K1 and the MMA and a mix of everything. And they'll have like a separate wing to their gym where they will have amateur boxers going up and through as well. And, you know, these are the guys, you know, that really are keen and know what they're doing. They'll have someone who'll start in the semi-pros or the lower levels and they'll see something in them and say, well, if you go over the amateur route, you'll become a pro much easier than you will go through this way.
So I would say it is like a kind of a bridge between semi-pro and full-time professionals, where they can develop to that professional level and taste it if they really like it.
They can, at that level, you'll find that they can spar and train with the professionals, and they can see, probably the difference in levels and whether they think they can make that step up or not. You'll find sometimes that people go, oh yeah, I'll go and spar with the pros, and then they'll get knocked about for a few rounds and think, oh, I'll stay where I am for a bit longer. But then you'll see others that will go and they'll spar with the pros and they'll do a really good job and make a good name for themselves. And then, that's time to progress. You've kind of shown that you can cope with the big boys.
Okay, so now let's move to big boys.
Yeah, so
what is the case with big boys?
Okay, well, as you go up and up and up, so now we are in the professional ranks, but if we look at companies like Bieber,
yes,
the British and Irish boxing people, so they are pros. However, they're not as recognised as some of the British Board of Control pros.
Yeah, obviously. They are smaller, but I can see from my own work, they're working hard to
they are
more visibility.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back maybe 5 years, they weren't as well known as they are now. So they grow in, and the guy who runs it, Rio, he's doing a great job. I've met Rio. He's got good ideas and good things are happening. And sometimes the Bieber boxers still end up on the televised shows, just not as often. And then as you go up to the top levels, you've got the British Boxing Board of Control.
Yes.
They're the ones that you see on Sky Sports and BT Sports every Saturday night. They're the ones that get paid really good money. And even the ones that don't appear on telly still can make a living out of just doing the boxing rather than having to work full time at the same time.
Okay, so now let's move to money ways. When you're starting as a pro, how much, in your opinion, you can expect? Obviously, all what you got from your sponsors, but you've been working on your own to bring them to.
I know some people that have recently, in the last 12 months, joined the pro ranks, and they get somewhere between £1,500 and £2,000 a fight, which is, compared to your Anthony Joshua's of the world, isn't a lot. However, if you do 2 fights a month, all of a sudden you're getting paid more than your average worker in the UK. So if you're taking home £4,000 a month from 2 fights and get all your training in and all of that, then all of a sudden you are making a living doing it. Whereas in semi-professional ranks, you get maybe £200 a fight. You'd have to do a lot of those to pay your mortgage. It's a different level, but it goes well. I mean, you'll start on these lower level shows, in your local cities, earning £2,000 a fight. Once you get to maybe the 5-10 fights mark, you'll go up a level. If you carry on winning, maybe £5,000 a fight. And who knows, keep going, keep winning. You might be demanding $5 million a fight like your Tyson Fury and your Anthony Joshua's in a few years' time, but
I doubt it. This fight will ever go to be seen on telly.
No, and I can't see it.
We will see. Future will tell.
Who knows? But I like both of those. They're both very good boxers. They both earn a very good living, But they don't need to go and work in a factory.
That is brilliant example. If you stick to what you got in your heart, you can go as far as you want.
This is it. I mean, I think if you are talented, naturally talented, keep going, keep training, keep pushing hard, I think once you break into the pro ranks, the world's your oyster. Just keep going and going and going. Even if you're not a ticket seller, which we know ticket sellers get it a little bit easier, but even if you're not, keep going. There's nothing saying that you won't break £5,000 a week barrier by fighting if you can do a good job.
Keep going, keep fighting, and guys, see you on the top. Let's come back to that subject we're supposed to speak about today.
Okay.
So, sponsors.
Yes.
And you know it from both sides because you are a fighter and you are a businessman.
Yes.
So, what what you think? How, especially young fighters, they supposed to approach businesses to got even a bit of sponsorship? Because it is like I've been reading a lot of posts at Facebook or on Instagram. Lad, first time in the ring, sponsorship opportunity.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking, man, where is opportunity? Maybe it's opportunity for you, but not for business. How you want to convince businessmen to give you a hand if you can't give him anything in return? What is your opinion about it?
I think if you're going on a show, it's different because you can put a board up, a flag up. As your name's announced, you can say sponsored by.
So you got exposure.
Yes, it's not loads of exposure, but it's something. So for a small sponsorship, that's something. I think if you're going to want to be sponsored for the year type thing, you need to do a lot more than that. I don't think it's just getting your name shouted out at a show. I think the boxer himself should share posts on social media from them, and then them in time can share the boxers' posts, so they're looking after each other at the same time.
So the best way it would be like participate in your work, like you do in your business.
Yeah.
And if I want to be sponsored by you, I supposed to share everything what you put in on social media and try to promote you to make sure you got something in return from
exactly. I mean,
sponsoring me.
Everybody's from a different place, so you're all going to have different friendship groups on social media.
Yes.
So I think if for example, I don't know, a car garage was sponsoring myself and they had a special offer on a half price MOTs, that as a boxer, I want all my friends to see that because I can help. Everybody needs an MOT on the car at some point.
Everybody has
we can get that in,
some point.
you know. Whereas if it was just something along the lines of, you know, we're opening now on a Sunday, I would share it, but I wouldn't necessarily go all out to say, look at this. But if it was like a special offer that's going to bring revenue in for my sponsor, and all I need to do is put that in a few places, I'm doing that. I want them to do well, and if they've put money into me, they want me to do well. And I think that's a good way of looking at it. You need to look at it as a boxer, as a business, not as I'm a fighter. This is my business, and I need help for my business to thrive. So if you help my business, I'll help your business. Sometimes it's financially, sometimes it's sharing posts. It could even be something like the boxer offering to go around the local estate, putting leaflets through letterboxes, because
that is not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. It's an hour. It takes you an hour. Go out and go and do all that. It's going to help the sponsor, and at the same time, the sponsor, they won't pay him for doing the job, but they'll pay him with sponsorship. So everybody is helping everybody out. You know, and it's people think, oh, sponsorship is just businesses that want a logo there. It's not always. Sometimes it's a small business that knows somebody who's going to go travelling or is going to go and get his name out there. And just to be associated with that could help that small business a lot more than you realise, you know? So as a small business, £200 for a year isn't a lot when you think that on 10 occasions your name's going to be shouted nationally or on telly or something like that.
Yes.
It's definitely worth the money.
But I guess for £200, that telly not gonna work. Yeah.
So with a first-time boxer, that first-time boxer needs to show willing. I think he could maybe say to the people he wants to sponsor him,
yes,
I could do little bits for you. I could go and do this. I can go and do that. I can go and do that, and I will make sure that on my shorts, on my first fight, your logo is there. And when they announce my name, they can say it's sponsored by. And he says these little things, but for some small businesses, that's a lot.
It could work.
You know, that's a lot.
Okay, so as a word of advice, you as a fighter, to think about, gaining your first supporter. where would you go?
Where would I start? Okay.
Yeah. How in my opinion, it's really important first to understand what we just said, then got right person to start with, right business to start with, to start somewhere, and find out how to do it properly to get some fruits in the future.
I think there's a couple of ways you can do it. As a total novice, fresh out of the ground, want to do it. So you could either put on social media that you're looking for a sponsor, but if I was going to do that, I plan to find however many times this year. Yeah. So I plan to have 4 fights this year, have my logo on. I will do this. So
just
all the things that
what you would do for them.
Exactly. Not just put I want a sponsor, get in touch, because then people are going to look at that and go, why? You know. But
there is a reason.
Exactly. But if you put there, I'm going to have 4 local fights. For example, as now, I'm going to have 4 fights in Derby this year, maybe 2 fights in the Midlands. I want your logo on my clothes, which will be paid for with your sponsorship money, and your name will be shouted out every time my name's shouted out, and I will share all your posts on social media. All of a sudden, you're advertising well. Why it's worth having a sponsor. Because there are people there looking for sponsorships, get in touch, and you message them, I want £500. Like, what are you going to do for me for £500? Whereas if you're telling him in advance, this, and this, okay, so maybe it might be worth it because we're Derby based, he's Derby based, he's going to have an email out, he's going to do this. You know, we could put a special offer on these 4 occasions when he's fighting in Derby, so he gets everything. There's ways of looking at it, and it could work really well if it's done that way. The other way is you find a friend who's got his own business or works for a small local business, approach them that way and say, look, you know, this is my friend, he supports me, I would like to support you in supporting me, and this is how I'm going to do it, and approach them face to face on the business. Social media side's very easy nowadays. Everybody uses social media. You can put pictures on there, you can put videos on there, and you can show what you can do, which is great. But I think sometimes the personal approach can work better. Going to see somebody, explaining what you want, why you want it, talking to the boss. Both can work. My advice though, if you're looking for sponsorships as a novice, don't go asking for £5,000 a year or something like that. Maybe try and get 5 small sponsors of like £100 rather than 1 big sponsor, because it's much easier to do it that way than persuade someone on a smaller amount of money.
Start small,
exactly. That's what I
when your career will grow up, your sponsors also will find out as it is where it is reason to sponsor you or not.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to justify £100 spending as a £500 spend. Obviously. So that's how I'd suggest doing it.
So what business you would go after you approach all your friends? like some food place, garage?
Yeah, local garages, car garages, because mechanics.
As you mentioned previously, advertising garage, it can be fairly easy. The same, I know my friends at Mansfield, they advertise in Hungrilla for food.
Yeah.
So that's the same is really nice.
I would definitely start with local businesses rather than national businesses. I think, you know, if you're going to be fighting locally in your local town, look after the people that are going to look after you. So everybody that's local. As you grow as a fighter and as you expand, and everybody around the Midlands and then the east of the country and the whole of the country starts to learn about you, then you can look at the bigger opportunities. But I think if you start small, you'll have a lot more success.
Okay, so now just turn around and start speaking from your business side.
Okay.
We got your boxing side covered. Now you as a businessman, what you would expect from fighter you sponsor to get done? Banners, leaflets? Yeah,
so again, as a business, I have a pro fighter and a, maybe you want to call it unlicensed or semi-professional fighter.
Let's mention you sponsor me also.
Well, we'll come to that, but we're talking about the boxers for now. You know, and at the moment, they don't ask me for a lot of money, which is great. you know, and I'm a local business. I'm based Leicestershire, so I'm not far away. I look after Derby, Nottingham in my business. So what I do with my fighters, I will share their posts about when they've got fights on and who they're fighting. But at the same time, I expect them to share posts about my business, what I do. If I'm looking for staff for certain things, I'd expect them to share. And they're not bad at it, to be fair. One of them's better at it than the other. But, you know, the other one's better at getting his name out and about around the country. So it works for me. I've had people contact me through the website saying, you sponsor so-and-so. What can you do for me? I'm looking for this job, I'm looking for that job. So it does work. And at the same time, because they're local to where I am as well, again, it helps spread the news around what I'm looking for. So it works for me and it works for them. But like I said, they started off small as well. They weren't asking me for thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds. There was a small amount to help get a pair of shorts or get a pair of gloves to get them going and get them on. And, you know, I have faith in the local community. I want to help people locally to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a money pit. I can't just chuck thousands and thousands of pounds in.
Come on, do it.
At the same time, you know, if there's somebody, and I'm from the boxing scene myself, so if there's someone I can see potential in that I know can do well, or that I know has got the right heart, even if they're not the best boxer, they've got the right heart and they can, you know, they're going to do the right kind of thing. But I'm happy to put faith in them as long as it's reiterated back.
That's exactly what I would think about.
With this gentleman here, you know, I help him where I can, and again, he's never asked me for mega amounts of money, and he'll share my posts.
You know, guys, now I will ask for that $5,000. Yeah, now and I know how I can help. Yeah, no, that was joke. Obviously.
Yeah, next year.
we can work together.
But at the same time, the guys that I do sponsor, I've become friends with as well, you know. So it's not all about the financial benefit of it. These are people that do the sport that I love, do the things that I love, and there's I can feel how they feel about their fights. I get gutted for them when they lose more than when I lose myself, you know. If I'm watching them on telly and they're doing really well and then they lose, I get down about it because of my friends more than because of my sponsors. But it's a strange world, but it's all about the love.
Yes, love for this sport is probably the biggest things in the game.
Yeah.
Without it, not much can be done.
I agree. It is a sport. You watch it on telly and people are at each other's faces and you think it's full of hate. It's not. It's a sport that's absolutely full of love. And I can guarantee you now, these people that are fighting, Anthony Joshua fought last weekend. When that fight was over, he'd have gone shook his opponent's hand, they'd have gone and had a coffee together or a beer together or whatever at the end. The fight's forgotten about. It's all about the love. They wouldn't be still at each other's throats like they were before.
No. I can partly agree with you on this one, but unfortunately we live in some kind of times when freak fights they taking over right now, and there is not much love for the sport. It's more love for the money and big exposure, I would say. But still is plenty proper sports people in this business where they can shake hands, they can go to beer after fight, and that is exactly what also I love in this.
Yeah.
That is the main things what keep us going.
Yeah. I think the rivalry is to get left in the ring, and that's what I like about it. Once it's done, it's done. Let's go back
we
to
can
being
be the biggest friends, but what is in the ring is in the ring, and after that we can go for beer.
Yeah.
What not mean I ever going to fight you. Cool. Like it.
Yeah. So I think that's how it is. So yeah, advice to young new people wanting to get my name out there. Talk to your local businesses. Talk to them first.
Like what we can summarize it. Start from your friends.
Yeah.
Then local business.
Yeah.
Then national TV and papers.
Step as you get better and you grow as a boxer and you get your own name out there, then that's when you look at growing with your sponsors as well. Bring your sponsors with you. If you're going big, bring them big as well.
That's the main things.
Yeah.
Guys, my guest today, Craig Schmitz, here on
StaffBuzz Recruitment.
StaffBuzz Recruitment. So when you will look for people to help you with your work, you know where to ring. Obviously, all links they are in movie. Everybody can check it, click on it, find out what kind of business he can staff you with people. And if you would like to start your chef career, he's the man.
Yeah, hospitality is a big part with us. Factory and warehouse as well. If you're looking for work, get in touch. That's the best way of putting it. Get in touch and I'll see what I can do.
Thank you very much, Craig.
Cool.
It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, always.
Hopefully we will got another subject for next week. Thank you guys and see you soon.